Today we'll see 15 little-known curiosities of the NFL, some absurd rules or events that changed forever the most watched sport in the United States. Let's begin. Number 15. Did you know that the NFL has a rule for when an entire team dies? Look, in 1970, the American football team of Marshall University was flying home after a defeat against East Carolina when, suddenly and tragically, they crashed, leaving no survivors. This tragic accident made the NFL wonder what would happen if this occurred to one of its teams. And with that, they came up with a crazy rule called the draft rule. This rule states that if 15 or more players from a team die, the league would organize an emergency draft where the affected team can choose replacements from other NFL teams until their roster is complete. And depending on how many players die, not only would the league cancel the entire season for the affected team, but it would also give them the first pick in the next NFL draft. Yes, the NFL is prepared to never stop, even if a team disappears completely. Number 14. I bet you didn't know about the NFL kicker who was missing half his foot. This is Tom Dempsey, and even though he was born without toes on his right foot or fingers on his right hand, Tom still played 11 seasons in the NFL and even made it to the Pro Bowl. That's legendary. Number 13, and this has to be the worst fan in the world. You probably didn't know that a fan once destroyed an entire NFL field. Look, in 2022, a man jumped the fences of the Cleveland Browns stadium, stole a truck, and started doing donuts on the NFL field. In the next game, you could literally see tire marks all over the field, but the guy didn't get away with it because a few weeks later, the police identified the man as Anthony O'Neill, 21 years old, and charged him with vandalism. The guy was really insane. Number 12, maybe you didn't know that the NFL has the craziest fans in all of sports. Seriously, you have people bathing in public before games, people turning their homes into shrines for their team. One guy even spent an entire week making a corn maze of Peyton Manning. The wildest fan fun of all comes from the Bills fans, because the Bills Mafia isn't just crazy, it's outright dangerous. After the Bills won the AFC Championship, they stormed the field and then ripped the goalpost out of the ground. Number 11. I bet you didn't know that the Dallas Cowboys website made men turn gay. In 2007, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones realized that Cowboys.com had recently been put up for auction, so he offered $275, thinking that would seal the deal. But unfortunately, he lost the auction. The person who bought it had a different vision because they turned Cowboys.com into a dating site for gay cowboys. Number 10 of things you didn't know about the NFL is that penalty flags used to be deadly. In 1999, offensive tackle Orlando Brown was doing his job, blocking another 350-pound man from reaching his quarterback, when suddenly, a referee threw a penalty flag that flew directly into Orlando's eye, causing him to go partially blind for real and completely derailing his career, forcing him to sit out the next 3 years. Fortunately, after recovering from the incident, not only did he manage to regain part of his vision and revive his career, but he also sued the NFL and won, taking home over $15 million. Blessed to be that flag. Number 9. And you probably didn't know that Super Bowl commercials are so expensive that not even billionaires can afford them. Every year, the Super Bowl is watched live around the world by over 100 million viewers, and with such a huge audience, it means that companies wanting to advertise during the game have to dig really deep into their pockets. I'm talking more than $7 million for a 30-second commercial. That's just absurd. Number 8. The NFL has a tradition of humiliating the last pick in the draft. Every year in the draft, being the last player chosen earns you one of the most embarrassing nicknames imaginable, Mr. Irrelevant. And these guys trained their entire lives, waited days to be selected, only to walk up on stage and get publicly humiliated. Number 7. The NFL uses cows, yes, thousands of cows, to make its footballs. Since the league was founded, the NFL has been making its official game balls with real cowhide leather, killing over 3,000 cows every season. And since 1920, they've used more than 300,000 cows for footballs. That's just insane. Number 6. You probably didn't know that the NFL is the richest sports league in the entire world. Look, every year the NFL plays the fewest games among major sports leagues, so you'd think that with less action, there'd be less money coming in. But nope. Their pockets are bursting. According to Forbes, in 2022, the NFL made more money than ever, over $18 billion in revenue. That's more than the NBA and NHL combined, and all because the NFL counts every dollar. Number 5. I bet you didn't know that the NFL goes wild with its pregame shows. Take the Denver Broncos, for example. They kick off each home game with a parachute team landing on the field, or the Seattle Seahawks, who try to blow your eyes out by releasing an actual Seahawk in the stadium. But then there are the Tennessee Titans, who hands down have one of the most dangerous pregame spectacles I've ever seen. They like to cap off the national anthem with military helicopters flying right over the field. But watch out. At number 4, you probably didn't know that in the NFL, it's strictly forbidden to dunk the ball like it's a basketball. It all thanks to this giant 6'7" man named Jimmy Graham. In college, he spent his time between football and basketball, but eventually chose the NFL, where his dunking talent backfired. During his early seasons, Jimmy celebrated every touchdown by throwing down epic dunks on the goalpost, until one day he dunked so hard that he broke the entire thing. A few months later, the NFL, not amused, dropped a new rule that banned dunks for good. Number 3, and hold on to your balls because we're about to uncover one of the weirdest mysteries in the NFL, the Madden curse. Yep, the Madden curse. It all started in 1998 when the Madden video game decided to feature Garrison Hearst on the cover after the season of his life. But boom, like a bad joke, just months after being on the cover, Garrison made it to the NFC Championship, and on the very first play, bam, a freak accident shattered his ankle and put him out for 2 whole years. That was the kickoff of the Madden curse, and from there, things got spooky. Out of 22 players who've graced the cover, 16 ended up wrecked by catastrophic injury shortly after. It's like these video games came straight out of a horror movie. Number 2, this one's total madness. It's ridiculously illegal to say Super Bowl. No, seriously. Let me explain. In 1969, the NFL got clever and trademarked the phrase Super Bowl like it was a sacred jewel. So if anyone outside the NFL tries to use it to sell anything, boom, it's more illegal than cheating on a final exam. That's why all the commercials say the big game. Sounds like a joke, right? It is. But the NFL doesn't mess around. In 2008, a church in Indianapolis wanted to host a little Super Bowl party with tickets and food for everyone. And what happened? The NFL caught wind, sent a very serious cease and desist letter, and shut the party down, saying that charging admission was a crime, and they better not dare call it a Super Bowl party. Damn, the NFL won't even spare the Saints of the last days. Number 1, get ready, because the NFL has a huge problem, bigger than a dinosaur in an elevator, and it's not just power or eternal fame. Before talking about electronic chips, we have to drop the bomb. NFL balls have computer chips inside. Look, in 2016, the NFL wanted to get techie. They saw that in tennis and basketball, they used gadgets to avoid messing up, so they put a chip inside the balls to track them. But surprise, that thing was more broken than an old car. It didn't track well, and everyone trusted the referees more than that thing, so they sent it to oblivion. Until 2023, in a game between the Ravens and the Bengals, tied in the last quarter, the Ravens were 1 yard away from glory, and the quarterback tried to sneak in for a touchdown. He didn't even get close. As obvious as water, but the NFL wanted to act modern and tweeted, according to the ball's chip, the closest it got to the goal zone was 0.6 yards. First time they confirmed the chips were working, and people went crazy. There's a chip in the ball? Why didn't they tell us before? Why didn't they tell us before? It's a chip in the ball, friends. Honestly, I think it's a genius move. It's going to improve the game, but it's not enough to save the NFL from disappearing. Because watch out. In recent years, the league has a big drama. Players are retiring younger than ever. Between torn ligaments and shoulders turned to mush, there's a problem that hits harder than a hammer: head injuries. Yes, players are taking blows to the head like they're pinatas, and that creates a disease that shrinks your brain like a walnut. The result? Memory loss, paranoia, and behavior stranger than a cat in boots. That's why we see Andre Waters, Antonio Brown, and Aaron Hernandez losing it on and off the field, and others like Andrew Luck saying, "I'm done" at 29 to protect their mental health. Last year, receiver Demaryius Thomas had stage 2 CTE and died from it at just 33 years old. And if that doesn't scare you, a 2023 study examined 376 retired players, and 345 of them came back with some form of CTE. That's 92%. So with so many young guys having their lives ruined, the NFL needs to find a solution, or football could run out of players until one day, poof, it goes extinct. And that's it, champions. I hope you were blown away by these crazy NFL stories, from footballs with secret chips to curses that feel ripped from a horror tale. If you laughed or got surprised, don't fall asleep. Subscribe right now so you don't miss any of these gems. See you next time.